In this edition of Back in History, we bring to you a comprehensive history of the creation of states in Nigeria. Nigeria is currently made up of 36 states plus the Federal Capital Territory, whose status is the same with that of a state. How were these states created? Who created them? When were they created, and for what purpose? These and many more are the questions addressed in this video. Welcome to this edition of Back in History. When the British colonial administrators arrived in Nigeria, they divided the country into two protectorates, the Southern Protectorate and the Northern Protectorate. Later in 1914, the two protectorates were fused together through the process of amalgamation. At that time, Frederick Lord Lugard was the Governor General of Nigeria, representing the interest of the British Crown. In 1949, the country was divided into three regions, namely the Eastern Region, the Northern Region, and the Western Region. In other words, the three regions were created by the colonial administrators. In these three regions, there were several minority ethnic groups. These groups would later agitate for recognition as states. The regional arrangement continued up to the time of independence in 1960. In 1963, a fourth region was created and named the Midwestern region. This region was carved out from the western region of the country. In essence, as at 1963, Nigeria was basically divided into four regions, namely the Eastern region, the Northern region, the Western region, and the Midwestern region. In 1966, Nigeria had its first military coup. This coup was bloody. The coup was led by Major Chukwuma Kaduna Nzeugwu. Several persons were killed, including the premiers of two of the regions and the then Prime Minister of Nigeria, Alhaji Tafawa Balewa. Nzeugwu could not, however, take over the reins of power as his coup was frustrated and crushed by soldiers who were opposed to the coup. The country was then handed over to the most senior military officer at the time, General Aguiyi Ironsi. Ironsi was in office for less than 6 months and could barely do much before he was assassinated in the counter-coup of July 1966. Ironsi did not create any new region or states for Nigeria. Following the assassination of Ironsi, Yakubu Gowon was sworn in as the new military head of state of Nigeria. What Gowon did was to dissolve the four regions and replace them with states. He was thus the first person to create states in Nigeria. He created a total of 12 states, namely Kano State, Kwara State, Lagos State, Rivers State, East Central State, Benue Plateau State, Midwestern State, Northeastern State, North Central State, Northwestern State, Western State, and the Southeastern States. These states were created on 5th May 1967. In 1975, Gowon was overthrown in a bloodless military coup. Gowon was in faraway Kampala in Uganda, attending the summit of the Organization of African Unity, OAU, at the time, when he was overthrown through a radio announcement by Colonel Joseph Gaba, who was Gowon's commander of the Brigade of Guards. He was advised not to return home from Uganda. A new military head of state was then announced, and his name was Murtala Ramat Mohammed. On taking over as head of states, Murtala Mohammed effected some changes in the country, one of which was the creation of additional states in 1976. He created 7 states, thereby bringing the total number of states in the country to 19. The 7 states were as follows: